Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Brought to the Table podcast, a podcast where we have a guest that comes on the show and brings a unique idea or perspective to this table. I'm your host, Luke Jones, and returning from last week's complete utter shit show, Peyton's back. Peyton, how you doing today?
I'm doing swell, Luke. How are you?
I am doing dandy. I appreciate you coming back on after the nonsense that was last week's episode. It was a fun time, but I'm glad that we are here to not say we're talking about something with substance, but I at least know that Love Island is not going to get mentioned in this podcast.
Oh Lord, I'm so happy.
No, me too. It was fun. It was fun. It was funny because the other night Brian was telling me some other stupid show that was like Love Island or whatnot, and I'm like, what is Taylor making you watch? Like,
yeah, she says she's not forcing him, that this is all on his own, and I feel like it's convoluted.
I think if he's messaging me about this, I think he's enjoying it. I might have to go give him an intervention. But Peyton, how are you doing? How are you doing today?
Good.
Just
Excited
good?
for the show? Yeah, I've been slowly accumulating some questions for you, and I've also got some fun facts for you.
Oh God, it's like we're almost interviewing me today. Sometimes we do that on that show. Peyton, you want to kind of give our listeners the topic of the show, because it's kind of a general topic of today, which I am very excited about it though.
Yeah, sure. I was suggesting in the last podcast we were in, we should have just some music talk, just like go dive in deep about who we like, why we like them. Is there more to a band or an artist? Yes.
For me, so I would have been like 11, and one of the first bands I ever got into was Green Day. I adore Green Day, and the memory I have is, for those of you who don't know, I went to private school growing up until I was 8th grade, and the first album I listened to, like fully as an individual, was Bullet in the Bible. And when your dad's driving you to private school, and the album that you're listening to is called Bullet in the Bible, you can only imagine the questions I was asking my father at that time. But yeah, that's kind of really, I think that's consciously when I actually started like understanding music was the thing and like wanting to listen to it more.
Nice. Yeah, I think you mentioned that in the last podcast. But I wanted to know more about just like if that was when it was like defining moment, and like how did it cascade from there? Like what else did you get into as an 11-year-old Luke?
Oh, wow. Jesus. Yeah, that was definitely the moment. Just because Green Day, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like alternative, kind of punkish, rock band. And I generally enjoy rock. I love, lead guitar sounds. It's like one of my favorite things. And that really kind of, and like a lot of my music listening was when my dad would drive me to school, because my mom didn't listen to music in the car because she's weird. She really just doesn't like music, which is also really odd.
That is odd.
Yeah, it's not like she dislikes it, like, oh my God, turn that stuff off. It's more of just like she'd rather just be in silence rather than hear noise. But he had a bunch of old CDs from like bumped into a lot more of the popular stuff. And for those of you who have played Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 2 probably really solidified the start of me just like diving really deep into like learning guitars and drums and like the different sound, like microphone stuff you can input into. Because the entirety of Sonic Adventure 2's soundtrack is essentially one giant rock opera, minus the Knuckles jazz songs. They're also good.
I've never actually played that game, so I don't actually have any idea of what you're talking about, but I can only imagine it.
Yeah, but that was probably that was probably the biggest defining moment, and then it just kind of cascaded from there. So yeah, that's kind of me. What about you? I want to know about you, Peyton. Tell me a little about you.
Okay, so I probably started getting into music when I was 8 or 9.
Okay,
my very first CD my parents gave me was the Spice Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a Spice Girl girl. I'm still a Spice Girls girl for sure. But I also was into tapes a lot, so I would always like steal tapes from my mom. She hid them underneath her bed in this like plastic tote. And she would catch me stealing Usher, Tamaya, like definitely into R&B soul. But I also would steal stuff that my dad would listen to, which was Metallica, In Excess. My dad was not the typical like rock guy. He really loved his like disco. And that's where I literally stem from, is like disco 100%. Like I love disco. And I am not afraid to share that.
I love me some funk and I love me some disco too. Let me tell you.
Exactly.
I
So
love.
and so it developed from like 8, 9 to just my own music to stealing music from my mom, because I had gotten this boombox, which I had this boombox for like 12 years before it finally died. And it had a tape player, a CD player, and just a regular FM AM stereo on it. And that thing lasted forever. And I used to start stealing CDs when I got into middle school. And so I was all 11, 12. And I stole a Limp Bizkit CD from my dad. And he got so mad that I was listening to Limp Bizkit. And my mom's like, dude, you listen to it in the living room. She's only a door away. And he goes, oh, I guess.
That's funny.
So, apparently 11, 12-year-old me was already like, saying, screw the world, Limp Bizkit all the way.
Oh my God, that's funny. So like, did you do most of your music listening like through like an actual stereo system, or because like for me, like getting into music, like when I was in 6th grade, I got the original iPod Nano, like the classic Nano. I think my dad still has it somewhere. And that's how I listened to a lot of my music, like when I was going on my like personal journey, if you want to call that. Like, did you listen to it mostly through like a stereo system?
My mom has been very prized about her stereo system. Like she has a 6 CD changer that's attached to a tuner, and then she has her speakers. And she used to run it through the TV, so it was like surround sound. So like that was her baby. And it was always on it was always on display. And then she also had the very old style headphones that had like the cushion and everything. She used to plug it in. And they were like really long cords at the time. And so she used to sit there, smoke out on the floor and just jam out. Like that's how I remember my mom 24/7. And that's how she like spent on the weekends, because my dad always would like hate some of her music. Like she was in Janet Jackson and like he hated that stuff sometimes. So that's how I remember it. But as a kid, I used to have a CD player, and I would take it on the bus, and I'd take it on cross country trips. I used to have a whole entire like folder that had held the CD player, the headphones, and then it had the sleeves that you could put CDs in to take with you, and it zipped up. And I used to have like the whole thing full, and I would take out a CD, pop a new one in, let the whole album play, take it out, put a new one in, let the whole album play. I've lost a few CDs along the way on the bus, and my mom was very mad at me for it.
Wow.
But thankfully, it was only something stupid like the Now 16 CD or something stupid.
Yeah, no, that stuff we don't have to worry about that crap.
Exactly. But I did lose a couple of my own CDs. I lost the JoJo CD. I lost the Sierra Goody CD. I'm very upset about it because those are 2 prime nostalgic CDs that I wish I had. But thankful for Spotify, because they're right there. But I mostly listen to a stereo at home. And then I finally convinced my parents after 7 different MP3 players in high school that I needed to get an iPod, because they couldn't last. I would take them out, plug them in, download more music, kick all the old stuff off, and then have to redo it all again in a week because new music was constantly coming out. And I was like, I gotta have all of this music. I gotta have all of it. Every single new thing coming out. Don't care what genre it is. I gotta have it. So I finally,
you gotta have. That's funny.
Yeah, so my parents and my aunt and my grandma and all of them pitched in and got me the iPod Nano 4th generation. It was one they had color. Like this one was like the yellow. I got the yellow one. It was a 16 gigabyte. And I think it had the slightly longer screen, so you could potentially watch videos, which I don't even know how you could see anything on that tiny ass.
I remember that was like the big thing with those, where they were like, yeah, you can watch movies on this. And I'm like, what?
So stupid.
But I think wasn't that the time when like the iPod Touch? Because I remember I got an iPod Touch like pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it was around that time.
because it was 2008 is when I was a freshie, and then I think 2009. Oh, yeah, 2009 to 2010 is when I got it because I was turning 16. So
God. I keep forgetting you're like a year older than me. So like,
yeah, just a year older. It's not that much.
I know, but like it's taking me back, man. It's taking me back.
Do you know how many times I've literally merged my entire middle school, high school year and go, wait, no, that's not right. And I'm like, oh God, it was.
You're like, oh crap, I was that person.
Yeah.
All that, because I was going through my music library recently, actually a few weeks ago, before we even decided to do the show, and I put together what I call my reflections playlist, which is essentially just like a giant list of songs of like stuff that I haven't listened to in a long time and songs that I used to like or the bands I used to be really into. And like I was going through and I was like, oh my God, this takes me back. Like each one of these songs I listened to within the time frame of 8th grade to like ending of senior year of high school. And I was like, oh my, like this takes me back. These are the memories. Because it's kind of fun. And I don't know if you do this, but like with me, with music, like there's obviously the ones that like the songs that you're always going to want to listen to because they're just like your favorites. You have some sentimental value to it. But there's definitely like part of music where it just kind of goes with you as you grow as a human being, as your life changes. And it's like when you listen to those songs of yesteryear, like not necessarily like yesteryear, but maybe something you associate, during that time, you're like, wow, I feel like I'm 15 or 16 again. I get that all the time. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, I do, especially when I go through like I went through an emo phase, and so it's like really crazy to see that when I was 16 and angsty, my mom would never let me go to a concert. I never got to go to a concert until I was like 20. And so listening to Bring Me the Horizon and hearing them like evolve and then going to see them in concert like last year, like just blows my mind because I'm like, dude, I used to like hardcore love this like specific sound. And like now they've grown with me. And I'm just kind of like, I still feel like I'm 15, 16 listening to them, but like hearing them on a different like side of them almost. And I'm just like so happy about it because I could still go back and listen to their old stuff and still love it like to death, but still grow with them and love their new stuff. And a lot of people don't like their new stuff because they're not as heavy. And I'm like, I don't know, I kind of like it. I'm not so angsty anymore, but I still feel like I want to stay in the angsty state without being angsty. You know what I mean?
I that's how I felt because it was like when I was listening to some of these old songs, I was like, man, I was such a weird ass teenager. And it's like, you're like, yeah, you talk of like, I don't think I ever went through an emo phase, but there's definitely like that phase in my high school years where I was just like, man, I am angry at everything, like it was that thing. And even there was definitely like there was one college year in particular I remember where I was just like, I was just pissed the whole time. I was just, no. But yeah, I get you. I get you completely.
Oh, that's funny. Do you have that one band where you're just like, you don't want anybody to know you like it because they're just terribly awful, but like at the same time, you think it's funny as hell to share the information so you can laugh at yourself?
I was gonna say, because like a lot of these songs that I have on here, they're like, I never listened to the band's complete album, but like you would do like the one hit wonder nonsense stuff. And it was in like, when I looked at this, I was like, it's like Hot Shell Ray. And
oh my God, I love Hot Shell Ray.
I know. That's an old one. And
yes.
And like the old like group love stuff, like Tongue Tied, and some of the old school, not in old school, whatever you want to call it, Neon Trees.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. And I was looking through, and even like the dumb stuff like Last Friday Night from Katy Perry. I mean,
that's still really
that's
good.
like so high school for me.
Yep.
And like no, and like the thing what was the other one I have? It was the Kesha song, TikTok. Yeah, that one before the actual app was a thing. I was like, I like this stuff. I actually like this stuff. And I still kind of do.
I still kind of do too. I do. I feel you on that. Yeah, it's fine. Like in my emo phase, I like this band called Broken Side, and they were just awful. Just plain up awful. If you ever get the chance to listen to them, they're awful, and you'll understand why I say they're awful, because I'm a 16-year-old girl listening to these 5 guys just talk so derogatory towards women, and I'm just like, God. Yeah! And it's like,
yeah, I like hearing this about my time.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. And my mom actually got into it for a split second. And I was just over for Thanksgiving, mind you. And she's got this radio downstairs playing up through the basement. and I heard Goose Goggles come on, and I go, "Mom!" And she was, "What?" I was like, "You're still listening to that trash?"
That's so
She's
funny.
like, "You introduced that trash to me, so I think you need to take it back." I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." Like, I just couldn't believe she was still listening to it. I was like, "Dang." I was like, "I didn't realize you really liked them." And I'm like, "They're terrible, but I secretly still love them." And it's just it's pathetic.
Yeah, no, I no, it's funny that you say that though, is like, so like a lot of the, like when you talked about like you grow with the band and stuff, like there's one band I've definitely like through the trenches, have listened to all their stuff, very knowledgeable of their history, and like I know like entire albums, heart like beat to beat, all that stuff is Maroon 5. Literally the only album I have not gotten into was their most recent one that they came out with, which I don't even remember what the name is because I didn't like it at all, period. There was like one song on there that I somewhat thought was okay. And but like that's like ones that whole band, like that band always feels good in the moment, no matter what time of like part of my life I'm in. So like, yeah, I started listening to like songs about Jane in high school, but like even now when I listen to it, like it gives you those vibes, but it also gives you the vibes of now and stuff. I don't know. I'm being super weird, philosophical music man right now. But there's other bands too that I felt that way about. The Killers is a big one for me. I really liked oh god, what's the album with Human, or I forget what that album's called. That one, that was a big one for me back in high school. Then I listened to some of their new stuff now too, which I really dig. Um, I really still like Train. Hey Soul Sister is my favorite song of all time. FYI, everybody.
No,
Um,
no, no, no. It
yeah.
can't just be that. It has to be Meet Virginia, okay?
Oh, okay. Meet Virginia is still a good song,
All
but
right.
it's still a good song. Hey Soul Sister is my favorite song of all time, and I assume we'll get into that. But yeah, like I still follow those bands pretty good. I also really like Jack Johnson a lot. And not just the Curious George album, because I know that's what everyone always goes to when they say they like Jack Johnson. I really like In Between Dreams a lot. That whole album's great, and there's still a lot of other stuff that he's done even beyond those two that are like really good. That I'm always in the mood for that stuff, and I've been listening to that stuff since I've been conscious of it, which has mostly been high school.
Okay. To answer your two questions, the Killers album you're talking about was Day and Age,
Okay,
and
Day and Age,
the
yes.
Maroon 5's album was the Blue Pill.
Oh God. Oh, hated that album. I
Yeah.
I remember specifically what I did with that album was,
Sorry,
so I do this every
Red
year.
Pill Blues. There we go.
Red Pill
Jeez.
Blues is what it was called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I bought that album and the new Walk the Moon album that came out in 2017, I believe is when those albums came out. And I bought them to go on a trip with my dad to go help him take out dog parts at the family lake house. And I remember listening to them on the car ride there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this Maroon 5 stuff sucks. Like it's bad." And then the Walk the Moon stuff, I was like, "Why do I like the Walk the Moon stuff better than Maroon 5? This hurts to say." Um, so yeah, I remember that.
That's
I know.
crazy.
I
So
know.
then would you say that rock is your favorite genre then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely my absolute favorite genre. I am not I would like, so what's weird too, and I mean we can probably get into this. I know you probably have opinions, is that I like rock is definitely my favorite, but I don't think we get a lot of it anymore in the traditional sense. The only way, like if you go search for music on different like Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen to your stuff, like to me to get the classic rock stuff that I enjoy, I actually have to type in alternative or hard rock to even
Uh,
get the stuff that I like.
okay, so then the stuff that you like for rock, like what is it? Who is it? Give me like a
Let
rough
me
genre, like estimate.
let me get some stuff out. So Mr. Wives is one of my most recent ones that I've gotten into, that I would say that one's more on the alternative side, but definitely like it's more of the rock stuff that I like. Um, Five for Fighting is also probably in that category as well. I really like them. Um, who else? I'm looking through my stuff right now. Oh God, what's that one band I got into a few years ago? Where are they? I need to find them. We're so professional here on the show, everybody. I was so well prepared. Um,
I even gave him some of these questions
I know.
beforehand to
I
prepare
just have the
you.
iTunes library pulled up in front of me, and I'm sucking real bad at it right now, everybody. I'm supposed to be the host of the show, and I suck. Oh my God, where is it? Oh God. Low Roar has been one I've gotten into. Vinyl Theater. Vinyl Theater is a little bit more techie, I would say, but they're still more on the traditional rock side. So that's kind of like the stuff recently wise I've gotten into. Small Pools. Small Pools was the one I was thinking of.
Like
So that's my
maybe
stuff.
2 that I know. So like that's really why I wanted to do this, because I'm like, okay, I don't know a lot of rock. I know actually some pretty decent rock, but I think I'm a little biased on rock because I worked at a music venue, and so I've got to see a lot of live rock, and I think live rock really just changes your whole entire perspective on listening to just a studio album of rock.
Oh, I can agree with that.
Yes. So, like, I would say I fall under alternative, but I also fall under new metal. So, it's weird because, like,
Which I also like those.
Tool. Yeah. So, like, I'm a huge fan of Tool. Now, for Maroon 5 is like, is Tool for me. Like, I know everything about them. I can listen to every single album, front to back. I can have it on repeat. I actually like some of their really long, stupid songs, like Disgust Debate. Like, love it, you know? And I did like a couple of research papers on them because I was doing a music program for a while at Ferris State University. And so I wanted to stay within the realm of music for a couple of the classes that really weren't for music. So that was a lot of fun. But when I think rock, I think classic rock, because like that was the original or glam metal, I guess you could say. So like glam metal as in like Poison, Motley Crue. Like, even though some of their stuff is just ridiculous noise, I still love it. It's a good like bonding sesh with my mom. And I will admit that I have already developed an old man crush from the 80s glam metal years.
Oh
And
man.
yeah. Can you take a guess as to who it possibly could be?
Oh God. It could be any of those. Oh, those blonde, long-haired. You know,
I wouldn't say he was
wearing the white
blonde.
suits. I could no. Just tell me. Just tell me.
David Coverdale.
Okay. That one's not as bad as you would think it is. I don't think that one's that bad.
No. Here's a little fun fact. David Coverdale's son Jasper, we're actually friends on Instagram.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, let's just say when I was 17, I was very, very obsessed. Technically, it was my second concert when I was 18. I went to the Soaring Eagle Resort and saw Whitesnake, Tesla, and Lita Ford. And, and I was so excited about it. It was stupid. And I ended up finding out that he had a son, and so I stalked him and I ended up becoming friends with his son. And I just leave him be. I don't message him.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
do
do
that.
anything. Yeah, it's really creepy, but this is my little like, one up, like I did something cool, like nobody really knows, but now everyone will know because I'm telling you right now on your
Oh yeah,
podcast.
absolutely. No, it's really
So,
funny. So what was your
with
first concert then?
Chiodos, Arcanium, and who is oh no, I'm thinking on the name, and everyone freaking knows who they are.
Sort
Kind of. This is gonna bother. Oh, Toxic Airborne Event. So I went with Be Stabbed in the Heart. That the lead singer touched me, okay? And then there was some point where like this 2 guys kept coming back to where I was at, And he actually like dared his friend to like try to kiss me, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?"
That sounds like everyone's
I was
first
like,
concert, honestly.
oh my gosh, I was drenched in somebody else's sweat. I actually went, my hair was down, and I was dumb because my hair is like to my shoulders, so it was like all soaked. And yeah, it was really, really raunchy freaking concert. I couldn't believe it. For my first concert, it was a rock concert, and that was intense. I would do it again though. It was so much fun. I ended up getting a bloody lip during Bullet's performance. I could barely see them because I was so short. And this crowd surfer came down, and I didn't duck fast enough, and his foot came back and biffed me in the mouth. And I was just bleeding through the rest of the concert. And I was like, yeah.
Oh wow.
All my friends finally found me. Like, where the hell did you go? I'm like, y'all didn't know who Chiodas was. So I left all y'all. And they're like, oh, okay. That's how my first concert went. And then actually, that fall I went and saw 303, and I absolutely adored that show. That show was the bomb. I remember it like it was yesterday. 303 was amazing. I would love to see them again, actually, if they were still touring, which I think they kind of are, but COVID.
Yeah, no, it's COVID times, everybody. It's funny you say that because I was supposed to go see Maroon 5 in August, and COVID happened. So and it's funny too, because I remember they didn't even cancel the concert till like I think maybe like late June or July, or like late June or early July of this year, and it was supposed to happen in August. And I'm like, you gonna cancel it and let us know when we're supposed to reschedule? Because I'm not going to be going to a concert in August during 2020.
No. Where was it supposed to be at?
Exactly. Oh God, it's I forget. So in Indiana, we have there's the famous outdoor stadium where they do all the concerts, and it's been called so many different things over the years because they keep getting like a different sponsor. I'm used to calling it the Clips Entertainment, whatever the hell it's called, center, but I know it's not that anymore. But that's like the place, because when I actually saw Maroon 5 back in 2013, it was Clips. That was the music center that I went to go see them at. And that's where I was supposed to go see them again, because that's also where I ended up seeing Evanescence a few years ago. So yeah, it's whatever it's called now. Someone can correct us, whatever it's supposed to be. But that's what I know it as, because even when even one of the people I know that was supposed to be going to that concert, she was telling me, she's like, it's the Clips Music Center, right? And I'm like, yeah, whatever it's supposed to be called. I don't think it's called that anymore. And she's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, right. But it's funny that you talk about your first concert experience, because my first real concert experience was like some little dumpy little theater place in my hometown. And that was like the moshiest of mosh pits I've ever seen. And you talk about the sweat. Oh, that was disgusting. Oh my God. I would never do that again. I was 16, I think. And the music wasn't even that good. And it was like some really weird hard rock emo crap, and it was like not even good. And I was just like, ugh. Because you went for the thrills. You went for the thrills to go with your friends, and I was just like, I'm not into this type of stuff, but I want to go hang out with my friends. And I was like, nope.
Have you ever went to a concert by yourself?
I've never gone to a concert by myself. This Maroon 5 one, but it would have been the first time I went to one by myself, though.
Oh, you should. It's a whole nother experience because you don't have anybody to look after. So it's like you can finagle your way to like the front at any given point.
Well, especially because I bought what is it? The lawn seats. So essentially, you're just sitting wherever in the lawn. And then even then too, you just go wander around. Yeah. If you don't like a song that they're playing, you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go get this overpriced drink. Yep. Whatever. Obviously drive safely if you're gonna do that. But and it's like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go have some fun. I was like, this is gonna be an adventure. I was gonna know some people there, but I've been like, you know what, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to go see people.
Exactly. Yeah, and just vibe out by yourself. Like that's the best way.
Exactly. No, I love vibe out. I literally do that on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the she den, is what my dad calls it. We have a non-conforming bedroom in our basement, and I moved my Cerwin Vegas down here so that I could just jam down here by myself without my husband.
Well, there you go. That's what you should do.
Exactly.
You gotta have your jam session.
Exactly.
Do you play any instruments?
The recorder.
Hey, that's right. I forgot that we talked about this.
This is all okay. So, like in school, in elementary, you learn like how to sing, how to read music, and then like fourth grade, the best thing happens to you. You get your first instrument, which is the
The
recorder.
recorder, yeah.
And like back then, they had that stupid recorder karate belt thing. So like I had all of the belts.
Oh
I
my
had the
God.
final black belt. Like I was so committed. Even though I hated being in front of everybody else and performing, I did it. I wanted it that bad. And
So what
I
you're telling me
don't
right
even-
now is that never get into a fight with you because you got a black belt in the recorder. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Kind of. I mean, I haven't played the recorder in a while, but I'm fairly positive I could pick it up within like, a couple of hours. Like, give me some
Oh.
time. I could still read music, thankfully. It just takes me a minute to like re-get into the groove because I don't read it regularly. Because then after, elementary, I went to middle school. In middle school, you either chose to go to band, and band was your only elective in 6th grade, or you didn't go to band. You just decided to do all the electives. So as you went throughout the entire quarters, you would just start a new elective each time. And so choir was one of them. And so I did choir, and that's where I learned to read music. Actually, is really from choir, and.
Right.
I wanted to do band, and so I went to band first and tried out all the instruments and realized I couldn't do wind instruments, at least read instruments. I couldn't do the clarinet,
Yeah.
couldn't do
I
the
see.
saxophone. Oh my gosh, my face turned beet red. I could not figure it out. And so then I tried to do some wind instruments like the flute and stuff like that. And I was like, nope, not into this. I don't like how I have to like tilt my face. No, I'm good. So then I went to the horns and I tried out the French horn and the horn, and I tried the trombone. My dad thought I was gonna be great at the trombone. I said, do you see these arms? They're short as fuck. Like, no. And he's like, just humor me. I was like, I'll humor you.
Oh
And
my
I like
God.
couldn't even get it that far. My dad was cracking. I'm like, see, I hate you. And he's like, it's okay. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm like, no, you don't. And then I tried like the xylophone they had there, and then I just ignored percussion. I'm very upset at myself that I ignored percussion because that's the one thing I absolutely like. That's what gets me in any song. So I like Tool so much. The bass and the drums. Like those are the two main things that make rock really like
Yep.
melt your cockles. Oh yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, oh yeah. So, and like I'm very upset with myself. Like if I could go back in time and actually try it out, and like I probably would have picked up drums. I still actually want to secretly learn drums, like if I ever like actually got into it. The closest I'm getting to the drums is Guitar Hero.
Oh my God. It's funny that you mentioned that because recently, about 2 months ago, I actually purchased Rock Band 4 and bought myself a guitar off of eBay to go play it on my PlayStation. And my God, I forgot how much fun Rock Band, Guitar Hero, they're all the same thing.
Yeah.
I forgot how much fun those games are. And one of the things I actually started doing on Rock Band was, and I never done this before with any of those games, is I started playing bass instead of the guitar. And I actually was like 100%ing expert bass on a bunch of songs. And it was like so much easier to like pick up the bass note stuff. And I told myself in that moment, because like I can play guitar, I can play drums, I can play piano, I can sing. I really want to learn bass. I really, really, really want to learn bass. So I told myself in January, once I get my finances, after I go pay for my PhD and my rent, I am going to go buy myself a bass guitar. I gotta start learning. It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of fun. Except I can't say that Barracuda is the easiest on bass.
Oh my
I
God.
freaking hate playing Barracuda on bass. Even on guitar, it sucks. It's the worst.
What is it? Oh God. What's that? It's a song by The Cure. It's a song I've been playing on Rock Band 4 that is like, it's the jam where I can play it 100% on both guitar and bass expert. Oh, I forget
Oh
what
my
it's called.
gosh.
Damn it.
I don't have Rock Band 4, so I can't help you on this one.
Oh man, okay, I gotta go look this up. It's by The
I was gonna
Cure.
say,
I
I
don't
can
have it
do
on my
that.
iTunes because I know it's something I literally learned from Rock Band 4. Rock Band for The Cure. What is the song? All right. Come on.
Love song?
No, it's not. It's not Love Song.
Oh, all right.
No, come on. Friday I'm in Love. That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
that song.
dun. That one. That
No.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
All right. Have you, since you're bringing up The Cure, have you ever watched The Crow?
Oh God, no, I have not.
Okay, that
I have not.
soundtrack you will be in love with. I'm sorry.
I probably would be.
The Cure is on it. Stone Temple Pilots. There's more.
Like
Is
The
it
Cure,
some?
like if we're talking like classic rock, like The Cure is what I think of with that sound, if that makes sense.
I
You
would
know,
not call that classic rock, but all right.
well, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say like classic rock, but like that old school, like late 70s sound, if you know what I mean. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, kind of. I
It's got
guess.
like Fleetwood Mac. Like when you listen to Fleetwood Mac, like especially like when you listen to Rumors, like it definitely has got that late 70s like sound to it. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Okay. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
That's
I
what I'm
guess.
getting at with that. With at least you can say the terminology I'm saying is absolute butt, raw ass but no pun intended. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's what I think of.
Okay. All right. Hmm. I was right. Okay. So I was looking up the album for The Crow, and like I said, it has Burn by The Cure, which is probably one of my favorite songs by them. I'm not a big fan of The Cure, but I can definitely get behind this song because it is such a good
I'm
soundtrack
gonna
for
go
this
put this on
movie.
my listen list right here.
Okay. And then I absolutely love Stone Temple Pilots. Big Empty is another favorite of mine off this one. And then they also have Rage Against the Machines, which I'm a huge fan of Rage Against the Machines. I wasn't as a kid. My mom was never into it, neither was my dad. But now it's 2020 and we've had a lot of shit going on and
Of course,
re-listening
2020.
to, yeah, I know, listening to Rage Against the Machines now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, I am down. Like, oh my goodness, they literally exploit so much stuff from our history. It's a masterpiece. I'm absolutely in love with him. I mean, his singing has gotten 10 times better too as he's gotten older. To the point where like I actually looked up like he did a concert in New Zealand and he sounded phenomenal live. I was like, okay, I'm down. And of course, they were supposed to go on tour as like a get together this year and they freaking canceled and I was pissed. I was like, God freaking damn it.
Wear a mask, people. Wear a mask. The running you weren't on the last like few episodes of this, Peyton, but not the running joke because it's not a joke. But in the last few episodes, I've been very clear of wear a mask, people. Wear a mask. So we can go enjoy fun things like concerts. Please.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the sister companies, she's not really a sister company to 20 Minute Live, but 20 Minute Live is owned by Live Nation. And Live Nation also owns House of Blues locations.
Oh
And in
wow.
Charlotte, the Fillmore is also owned by Live Nation. And there's a Fillmore in Detroit. Don't get that confused. The Fillmore is got multiple places, but it's considered Fillmore Detroit, Fillmore, Charlotte,
Yeah,
things of that
wherever.
nature. But
It's like
because
House of
they're
Blues in Chicago, that type of thing.
yeah. So basically in North Carolina, it's warm in Charlotte almost all year round. I mean, they get fall, but they barely get winter. And if it's winter, it's a frost and,
Right.
nothing compared to us. But they decided to use their entire outdoor garden area to set up individual spots of groups of 2 or 4, depending on who's like got the tickets. And they're doing outdoor performances right now.
So you
And I'm
learned
just
like when you because you said you worked at what was it exactly, like not a concert venue, but like you worked at a music venue, right? Is that what
yeah,
you used
20
to do?
Minute Live. Yes.
Okay, so like what did you all like? Because obviously, like like I understand what you're talking about, but like obviously, like if you're not in the music world and go to concerts every day, like this is obviously stuff that you picked up from that like venue stuff. Like how is that working at like a music venue? Like is it just like You know, what is it? And it no
Heaven.
different than just like, hey, I just get to go see concert every day or just hang out with that stuff, or what's that like?
Oh, it's amazing. Oh gosh, it's so awesome. I was not prepared for like what I was getting into besides customer service. So at first it's like finding people's seats, getting familiar with where certain parts of that number are because it was very wonky. And you're just kind of like telling people where to go. And then after that, you're just checking tickets to make sure that person or those people are supposed to be in that section. And depending on where you're at, because all of our seating is upstairs for the
Right.
20 Minute Live. Everything else on the floor is downstairs. And then we have this side mezzanine where it's standing, but if it's a comedy show, we sometimes do chairs on that side. And so you get to see the entire show depending on what your role is. So I was in guest services for a while, and that was just basic helping anybody out, cleaning up, keeping things clean, letting security know that, hey, I see something suspicious, or making sure our patrons are safe, including ourselves. Like, we're a really close-knit family. We're constantly communicating on radios, all those things. But then I transferred to our upsells team, and the upsells team was like this glorified position, even though you got pretty much paid the same as a guest service person. But this is like a separate room, and you offer an experience. So you offer upgrades into like the front row of the low mezzanine, which is the best seats in the house. And you offer opportunities to stand on the mezzanine so you can get closer without spending a fortune, but because you're so short or you are, hurt or something like that, you don't have to be on the floor where it's super pushy because we have a max capacity on each side situation. So over the time, depending on what I was doing, I sometimes got to freely roam with an iPad and sell upgrades. But also there was a cool point like in the night where it's like once the main event went on, if we didn't fill all of our seats, we were able to accommodate people by, hey, would you, because we'd search for people who are sitting down, who are just not doing good, like people who have maybe passed out. Like, we try to find people who really are trying to just enjoy themselves, and we try to put them up there basically for almost no monies, but so that they appreciate what we're trying to do for them, but also try to give them an experience that they'll always remember. And that's what I loved about working there, is like, you got to see everything, you got to make people's nights, and you got to meet new people and hear new music all the time, or new comedy acts, or magic. Or one of the other ones that was a lot of fun that was super awkward is we had Chippendales, and we've had
oh my god, yes.
yes,
That's what we need. We need more rest in peace, Chris Farley. We need more Chippendale skits from Saturday Night Live.
Yes. So that was a lot of fun. And I mean, I've met a few famous people, not purposely, like just on accident because of the position I was in. Like, there is a rule that you are not allowed to ask that person for a autograph because it's against policy. But if they were to come up to you and like talk to you and say, would you like a signature? Then you can say yes. But that's about all your extensive. You can't
just say yes. You say hell yes.
Right. So like, I accidentally met Mudvayne, which was not Mudvayne, actually. It was Hell Yeah, but the lead singer of Mudvayne is the lead singer of Hell Yeah. So I got to meet them on accident. They were trying to find the green room. And like, I've actually never been in the green room of 20 Minute Live. So I really don't even know where it is. I just know the entrance of how to get to the hall. Like, because I'm not in production. So I accidentally met them, and I said, hey, how you get there? I was like, oh, hey. And I did not realize it was them because I was just doing my job, cleaning, getting ready. And afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, oh, wow, cool. Like, that's cool. Like, awesome. And then I accidentally met Ali Sykes. I almost actually ran into him. I was in the elevator coming up to, didn't realize it was Ali Sykes, mind you, because I forgot that he's gone salt and pepper. He's chopped all of his hair off. Like, I haven't seen him since he was in his really darker phase with long hair and everything. So I came up the elevator and I like stepped out, and there's these two people sparring for like MMA, and I didn't pay any attention, and he like eye goggled me, and I was like, I am so sorry. Like, I will go this way. Like, whoop. And then he gets on stage, and this is also where I was working the show. And then we sold out, and my boss is like, hey, do you want to clock out and enjoy the show? And I was like, oh, hell yes.
Of course.
So then she gives me access to like some cool freaking sweet spots. Like I get to sit up in the mezzanine and watch and stuff like that if there's room. Like normally if we don't come first, our patrons do.
Right,
So like
exactly.
I got to really enjoy seeing him, and I realized it was him. And I was like, oh dang. I was like, that was another opportunity, Miss Peyton. What you doing? Like
That's funny.
yeah, I met Lights. She was actually taking pictures of Young the Giant. Was that
Ooh, that's one of
yeah.
my favorite bands. Young the
Oh
Giant.
yeah.
I love them.
Yeah,
They're
they
so
were
good.
setting up. They were setting up and they were doing their sound check because they're the last ones to do their sound. Well, they're first ones to do their sound check, and then their opener is the last one to do the sound check. That's how that works. And that's why usually when you go into a show and you see there's so many complications for the main event is because they're the first ones to set up and then they're done until they go on. So that's why it's like everyone gets so upset about, malfunction, and it's like, no. It's not their fault. It's literally something has changed since two other bands have played and done their setup. So
Yeah.
you learn so much. There's so much I can tell you about and so many cool opportunities, but I feel
This
like
is
that's
so
just gonna
interesting.
take
Like
up.
I know this is why we do the show, because I like hearing the different perspectives of that side, because obviously I've been to concerts and I've listened to people play, and like you get that experience, but like when you work behind the scenes at the concert and you get to obviously you get to meet all these cool people in these random ways, but like actually like working the venue and kind of knowing how the whole thing gets pieced together, at least from the venue standpoint, I think it's like super fascinating to me. I always tell the story about meeting someone famous is not actually my story. It's my dad's story, but I want to tell it because I think it's hilarious. My dad was in Vegas one time and he was watching Robin Williams do stand up. And my dad went to the bathroom and he was at the urinal and he's basically got to piss right next to Robin Williams. And Robin Williams was like trying to chat with my dad while he's trying to take a pee. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Oh,
So
that is great.
I
Oh,
know,
that's
like,
so
and
good.
rest in peace, Robin Williams. He's so fantastic.
Yes.
And I was like, damn, that would have been such a story to tell. I love Fleetwood Mac. I love them to come back. Rumors is my favorite album of all time. When I got to see them in concert a few years ago, it was just like one of those magical moments of like, that band has such a history of kind of like, it wasn't like direct family, but it felt like one. And when you watch them all perform live on stage, like everything, it just, I've seen other people play live, whether it's like, through YouTube or actually live concert, but Fleetwood Mac coming back together again just felt like a family just playing on stage together. And I think that's something that you miss out, because obviously a lot of these bands are just like family, it's like 4 or 5 people, playing and singing, and they're going on tour and they're basically spending all this time together, and there might not be direct family. And Fleetwood Mac, like, a lot of them were couples in that crew, but like, even with that being said, like it felt like family watching them play, and I would love to see them come back.
Yeah. I mean, who died? I can't remember. Did someone
I
die
don't I
already?
don't think anyone died directly, but I mean, like, if we're talking about deceased members, like, of band that would love, I mean, like, this is the generic answer, the Beatles, but specifically, George Harrison.
Okay.
Here Comes the Sun. I would love to hear him play that. I That song is amazing. It hits me every time. Um, that would be like, I know it, like, and I know people are like, well, it's the Beatles. Everyone wants those people to come back. No, Here Comes the Sun is like one of the greatest songs ever written. Period. That I wish that song could be sung by the whole crew, together. That would be the one. So that's my answers. The actual band, and then the actual deceased member. That's what I would. That's my answer for all of that. I hope that suffices your question.
I think it falls in line with answering it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank God. I like to make sure I give solid answers to questions that people give me.
Oh,
Unlike my
that's nice.
students, when they send me assignments that don't answer the assignment, I'm like, what the hell? I gotta ask you, Peyton, because I told you
Okay.
mine. Do you have a favorite song? You have a favorite song of all time?
Of all time?
Yes.
Oh, see, this is the thing, is this is why, in my questions, I had top 10 favorite artists instead of 5 because it's really hard for me to pinpoint a specific artist or song.
I gotcha.
Because I'm constantly changing. Like, this is why I love using my Spotify app. Even though I know they don't pay very well, I cannot get myself to use Apple Music. I've loathed the way Apple Music works for
Oh,
me.
I actually funny thing, I actually don't use Apple Music. I actually buy my music on iTunes.
Um,
That's what I do.
I the problem with that is because I don't wanna buy something and then I don't like it. So that's why it's like, if I really absolutely like it after I've listened to it on Spotify, then I'll go out and I'll buy the physical copy. I don't do the digital download usually.
If I get the
I'll go
chance
out
to get physical stuff, I would usually try to,
yeah.
but it usually ends up being digital for me most of the time, sadly.
Okay. Well, it makes sense because then it can't get ruined and it can just go wherever you go.
Yeah. I when
Like,
it
it makes
comes to, like,
sense.
my physical music collection, I know this is in your sheet, vinyl all the way. Whenever I get the chance, I buy vinyls because I love the sound of vinyl. I have a record player. Um, it's I love that sound. It's great.
Yeah, I my mom never actually really had a true vinyl player. She had it attached to an old stereo that she had, and I never really listened to her play one. So, like, I didn't even got the opportunity to learn how to actually load one, but if I
Oh, wow.
were yeah, but my nana has many, 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 many vinyls that my mom will inherit, and then unfortunately, when she passes, my if my mom passes, then I will take all of those from her, and I'm her only child, so it's like I don't have a
You're
choice, but also
special.
yeah, I get access to that, which is great. And my husband that's kind of one of the things that attracted me or me to him, I guess you could say, or how he was attracted to me is that he doesn't have a lot of knowledge in music.
Oh, wow.
And so when we went on our first date at Harmony Brewing, they were playing old records and I was just like so like excited about it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so and so." And he's like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "My mom, she my mom's like one of those people who like would always test me. She'd always like play something or something would pop on the radio and say, 'Who is it?' I'm like, "Ooh, I don't
My dad
She
does
then
that to me sometimes in the car.
oh my god, that's so
Yeah.
funny, and I love it. It's like this weird, like, secret code you have with them, and you feel honored and privileged, and you just feel happy when you get it right, and they're just so, like, happy that you, like, remember it. It's kinda like remembering, like, their, like, nostalgic childhood music as well. It's really cool, like, experiencing that. So,
I gotcha. That's
yeah.
that's fine. It's actually, it's funny that you bring that up because I do feel like, even if you don't know a lot about music, I feel like music really helps bring people together by, you get to introduce someone to like like a slew of songs and really, kind of like what we've been talking about on this entire show is really just, music means something to you in a different way. And, you get to share that experience with somebody else. And I think that's super important. Um, because, like, you just get to share that slice of your life with somebody of, like, this history of what these songs mean to you, and I think that's all and, like, especially too, like, granted, a lot of the stuff you've actually talked about, it's like it's funny at the beginning of the show when you talked about metal. I went through my metal phase in, high school, and, that's when I got into all those, like, new metal bands and stuff like that. Deadly Sinners is probably my favorite metal song, because 'cause I'm
By
weird.
who?
Oh god, what is the band's name here? I gotta look it up. I got it up in front of me. Deadly Sinners! You folks probably know that. We're listening right now, except I sang that completely flat. Um, 3 Inches of Blood.
Don't think I've actually ever heard of them.
They are the yeah, they're special. Um, but, but yeah, so I love metal. Metal's one of my go-tos when I really need to just, like, jam out.
Yes, yes. I actually, that's why I really loved working at 20 is they had a lot of alternative acts. And I actually listened to Greta Van Fleet. They were this is a revelation, I'll tell you this. Okay, do you know who Greta
Revelation.
Van Okay, do you know who Greta Van Fleet is?
I do know who they are, yes.
Yeah, they're from Michigan. Um
Yeah, that
they
explains a lot.
yeah. They were the opener for our very first sold out show in 2017 on February 3rd for Shinedown. And I was just a little noob, overwhelmed, didn't even get to enjoy the openers, and didn't realize that a year later that I was listening to the openers, which was Greta Von Fleet. And I was like, no, I wanted to enjoy that show. And now they've been sold out in their hometown like all the time, you know? And then they went on tour. That's like the revelation here is like you don't realize what you're listening to until it's too late. And you're like, shoot, I could have enjoyed that show if I had known anything about them. That's how I ended up discovering Royal Blood. I absolutely love Royal Blood. They have a very alternative, like old 60s, like, you know, Sex Pistol style almost, I guess you could say. Like they've got that really distorted sound and I love it. And it's not super like crazy heavy, but it's got that rawness to it and I absolutely love it. And I want to see them perform live. And then I also saw, you know, Bad Flower. That's how I found Bad Flower. Like that's where I would say I found most of my rock influences from working at a venue.
I gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, based off what you've explained to me, that's like it seems like you got most of it from the venue atmosphere. But back to the topic at hand. So you don't have a favorite song of all time. Tangents, everybody. It's the theme of the show.
I know, right? I thought I was gonna get out of it. Okay.
No. If you can't think of one, I'm not gonna force you to.
No. I will. Let me go to my library here on Spotify. Let me go to a playlist that I made when I first started listening. I've had Spotify for like 4 years.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
Because I could definitively probably give you a top 5 song list from me.
I know exactly what it is. It is, as lame as it is the Steve Miller Band, and it is Fly Like an Eagle. Like that
really?
is yes. Like, okay. I don't know how you are about, you know, kind of like Token or anything like that, but like that is my go-to song when I just want to really vibe out and just listen to all of the different sounds that's going on. Like when you listen to the entrance of Fly Like an Eagle by Steve Miller Band, there is so many little details in the beginning of that, and it resonates. That's how I feel about like Hall & Oates. I Can't Go For That, because they both have that long intro and like different things are happening before it gets to the main like rhythm and melody. That's I'm that person. That's literally how
so the way that you describe that to me, my vibe out song is Band on the Run.
By Wings.
Yeah. So like, cause what's amazing, cause like it's what you described there, where like that song has essentially like 3 different things going on in it, and like it starts off kind of like slow, and then it's like, ooh, something bad's happening, and then all of a sudden it's the running portion of the song where you're like, yeah, let's go on this adventure. We're on the run, you know. That's like the song where I'm like, let's just mellow out, let's just feel the music flow in my soul, and it's just, yeah, that's my jam.
I think what's nice about our differences on music is that we don't have the generic like taste like some people do. Like they would say that what we're talking about right now, the way that we're feeling that vibe out song is most people would either go for Hotel California by the Eagles.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Or Clean. Their biggest famous one, I'm blanking, Bohemian Rhapsody. Like those are the two that everyone.
Bohemian Rhapsody was the one I was thinking like most people would probably say.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. And I thought of that as you were talking about Band on the Run, because I know exactly what you're talking about. My mom loves Paul McCartney. So like,
oh yeah, Paul McCartney's great.
Yeah. So like that is definitely one. But I also would put Elton John in there. Benny and the Jets. Like that's definitely a really good one.
You know, if we're talking about vibe out stuff, now I know it's not on the same line of like what we talked about, Band on the Run, Fly Like an Eagle, but if there's a song that I just want to go chill, it's by Queen. It's Radio Gaga. That song does not get enough love.
No, it's an amazing song. That's how Lady Gaga got her name.
Night driving song. You just drive through the city. You got all these lights on around you while you're driving through. You only drive at least 40 miles per hour. You just play that song. It's like 6 minutes long. It's like, yep, perfect driving through the city song. Perfect.
Yeah, I love that song. Actually, I love the melody a lot, especially like even in the rhythm because he still has the clap. I'm a huge clapping person. Like if I can find the clap in the song, oh, you've got me. Like that's why I like BTS a lot because some of their stuff has a very
And we all
disco-y
came full
vibe.
circle BTS. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
tried.
No, I appreciate it. That's hilarious. Um, I was gonna try to find a way we can round out the show with some BTS reference right there, and you did it for me.
You're welcome. Actually, speaking of BTS, this is the fun fact stuff I told you earlier before we started the podcast. I had a little bit about my playing history on Spotify. Spotify does a Wrapped every end of the year, and it tells you like how many minutes you've listened and what's been going on throughout the year you've been listening. And it said that I had discovered 477 new artists.
Oh wow!
And I listened to 402 genres that I already had listened to, but I discovered 162 new genres. My top 5 genres were pop, rock, pop rap, movie tunes, and alternative metal.
What?
Yes. Oh, it is completely accurate. And
Oh
then
my!
get this. Boy with Love featuring Halsey by BTS was streamed 48 times this year by myself. And my top songs were Boy with Love, Black Swan, On, and Dynamite. And then the random One in a Million by Dance Gavin Dance. That's my top songs.
Oh my god!
How random is it, right? And then I was a pioneer, and a pioneer is considered listening to an artist's song before it hits 50K. So I listened to PKS. And then my most played decade was 2000s. BTS was there for me for 2020. And I was in their 1% of top listeners, and I spent 4,643 minutes listening to just their music.
That's funny. So what I'm gonna do here is that I'm going to create a playlist on my iTunes account. That's gonna be see if I can get this to work. I don't know if it will. So it used to do this by default where you can have it's like your top 50 most played songs of all time.
Mm,
And it's no longer that simple. Um
mm.
and I don't know if it will just do it immediately if I just click OK. Smart playlist contains one or more conditions that are empty or conflict with each other. Okay, cancel. Well, don't add it then. I just want limit artist. Can I just do any?
Wait, if you're using iTunes, can't you go into the field of settings and actually just select like plays? It'll tell you how many plays you have, and it
Yeah,
should be able to
I know, but it's
categorize
not
it.
as easy as it used to be.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't used
and
iTunes in
I'll
ages.
screw with later. I know at one point back before this all changed up, to give you some perspective on like my favorite songs of all time, I had Hey Soul Sister played at least over 600 times. That's how much I like that song. But we'll have to revisit this so I can actually give you a definitive list. But I mean, back on the topic of songs. My top favorite song, 5 songs. Hey Soul Sister is number 1.
Mhm.
2 is Sunday Morning by Maroon 5 specifically. Yep, no, I know that song beat to beat. That makes me feel good on the inside. What is it? Number 3 is we already mentioned it. Here Comes the Sun. I really like that song. Johnny America by Five for Fighting is number 4. Do you know this one?
I don't know the song, I know the band, and
You know the band?
the song that comes to mind when I think of that band is the one that made it on the stupid, like, Now 5 CD, I think, is like a hero of
100
some
Years?
sort. Yes.
Yeah, well,
God.
everyone if you know, like, Five for Fighting, usually 100 Years is the one that everyone goes to at first.
Ugh.
But the like, all of their stuff on there is actually, like, really solid.
Mm.
Um, and then, last one is Hurts Like Heaven, Coldplay.
I hate
Technically
Coldplay. I'm sorry.
oh, you hate Coldplay.
I have a list of, like, 5 bands I refuse to listen to, and
Why
Coldplay's
is
on
that? I
it.
must know Coldplay. I
I
must know the
don't
reason for
like
Coldplay.
I don't like his voice. I don't like the way he writes. I don't like the way I don't like the way they gel together. They just don't gel together for
I
me.
will say this. The one thing I hate about Coldplay is that when I have not seen them live, but I've seen them perform live and like online. And you are definitely right. There is so much tune up that they do behind the scenes to get that stuff to sound good, because the lead singer's voice does not sound good by default. So I
It's
can get
like
behind
Smashing
that.
Pumpkins.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and it's what I hate too, because like when I saw Maroon 5 live, like Adam sounds exactly like he does when he sings, like through the actual song. Uh, but like when you listen to some of these other folks, when you listen to them live, I'm like, oh my, how do they get away with this? Like seriously.
Like Black Bear.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, he can sing. I actually saw him in 2014. I didn't know I was gonna see him because he wasn't on the lineup.
Not
Like,
the
I
title.
was so, like,
I
taken
love
you
his
no, you
flops.
should.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yes.
But
Alright,
all
back
right.
to
But
that.
I think we'll go ahead and wrap up the show right here, though, Peyton. I think we've talked about music for a good over an hour at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you
Well,
enjoy
actually, it's a
being on the
little
show and it's not a complete shit show?
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I
Do
feel like
you
I
see that
talk a
we actually
lot.
do have structure around here?
Yeah.
We do.
I mean, you kinda guided it, but I'm the one who gave you all the questions to
Well,
ask.
that's how we do. That's what I like about the show is like the whole point is the guests to come on and either ask me questions or give their perspectives on different things to enlighten myself as well as the audience. And then the audience gets to learn something new where I talk about how Hey Soul Sister is my favorite song of all time. So, and some
So,
people
like,
are like,
Meet
that's super
Virginia.
basic. And I'm like, who cares? I like basic stuff. I like bread.
Yeah.
I like
I
bread without any jam or toast. I'll just eat bread, you know?
Oh my god. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I feel you. I mean, yeah.
exactly. In the words of Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim,
Oh,
bread makes you fat.
yes. Yes, it's a good movie.
That's a great movie. Also a great graphic novel. But Peyton, thank you for joining me. This has been an absolute blast. We'll definitely need to either revisit this topic at some point or take a different spin on it. Thank you for being here. You've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you for having me and actually contacting me and telling me we should do it, so
Exactly. No, absolutely. I wanted to do this. You know what's been super fun is being able to talk to so many different people this year that, I normally don't get to talk to on a level like this. And this has been really fun. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. Is it before we go, I don't know if you have anything to plug, because this is the point where I have the guest plug stuff.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, like, so when you talk about like, do you do anything that you want to like show off, social medias, things you do, stuff like that?
I got nothing yet. I'm
You
still
got
working
nothing
on
yet?
I'm still trying to figure out how to do a podcast of my own, and
Well,
I'm
guess what? That's
nervous.
why you're here. You're learning the ropes right now as you're
I
recording this with me.
am.
You
Yeah.
get to hear me yell at the Craig bot that's recording our very show as we speak. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you folks probably could tell my crappy editing skills, which are getting better over the years. But yes, Craig decided to be a complete butt face again this week, but not a complete butt face like he was the other week.
I mean a
Um,
douche nozzle.
yeah, exactly. That is one of the greatest words I think I've heard. You used that last week, didn't you? Or last
No,
time we
I
recorded?
used last time I recorded, I think I said douche canoe, but
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. I was like, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And I'm going to start using that. And I haven't had a time to use that because when you work with students and faculty and education, you can't use words like that.